and gentlemen, I will move swiftly along. We have Dr. Lindelwa Mhlongo, who will introduce our guest speaker tonight. If she's ready, willing, and able, please offer her a warm round of applause. Thank you very much.
Advocate Moekoa, can you please come to the floor? Thank you. So I'm here just to give a brief bio of Advocate. He has done so much, and looking at the bio, he's a very humble person because he really didn't include everything that I know he has done, but I'm gonna read the bio now. Advocate Moekoa is an admitted and practicing advocate of the High Court of South Africa. He has 10 years of experience in the defense and security sector. He worked as a legal advisor at the United Nations Peace Missions. Moekoa obtained his master's degree in public international law at the University of Free State, specializing in international humanitarian law and international human rights law. So I'm sure most of us recognize Advocate, and that is because he is the co-founder of the South African LawHub. And this organization aims to make sure that the practice of law is not only profitable, but socially responsible, healthy, and enjoyable for legal practitioners. It also helps legal practitioners connect with each other and clients, business or individual clients in the various areas of operations. It also helps legal practitioners master the business side of law. They also exchange legal briefs. They share legal vacancies, flagship pledges, and etc. They also share various business opportunities in the legal fraternity. Ladies and gentlemen, Advocate Moekoa.
I hope that I can be seen. I'm generally very short. Allow me to always, it's okay. Allow me to start by observing the protocol. The Vice Chancellor, Prof. Lenkabula, the VP, Prof. Motsa, the Executive Dean, Prof. Kole, the Deputy Executive Dean, Prof. Budeli Nemakonde, the Director of the School of Law, Prof. Dube, and the Director of the School of Criminal Justice, Dr. Morodi. Now, allow me to start by disappointing you. If you thought I'm coming to give a speech, that's not the intention of today. If you thought I'm going to recite a poem for high school kids, certainly that's not the aim of tonight. If you think that I came here to make you feel good, apologies. You are in the wrong place. But one thing that I bring is a simple invitation, a call to action. I want to invite you to be part of an army, a movement to make Africa great, a movement to reclaim the dignity of a black child. I want you to come and share with us your experience, your skills, your knowledge, to become a member of APGroN to become a citizen and a patriot. I want to call you, invite you to come and help us, help you to help build with us this country, this continent, so that one day as a continent, as a people, we can reclaim our dignity when we are dealing with issues at a global level. Dr. Seko has spoken, if I know the other name, and he indicated that we are in trouble as a continent, especially when it comes to the knowledge production. In fact, to say we are in trouble is an understatement. We are essentially dealing with a catastrophe, and of all catastrophes, potentially of nuclear proportions. And it is clear in our papers, for those that have read the book of abstracts, that it is estimated that in Africa currently, we produce less than 1% of all global knowledge production. 1-point-something billion people, the global numbers of 7-point-something billion, and we produce 1%, as opposed to at least 14% if you look at the percentages globally. Now, this status quo, unfortunately, will not just miraculously change or disappear. Can I repeat that? We are saying we are in trouble. I say we'll continue to be in trouble unless there are interventions that you and me, together with APGroN and all other important stakeholders, get in the mud and bring the change that we want to see. There's this nice song that I hear sometimes being played, and it speaks something to the effect that if you don't like your story, you better change it, something along those lines. And I'm not sure whether you like the picture that's been portrayed about our contribution to the global research production. I don't like it, Mama. Do you like it? I don't like, do you like it, ma'am? Do you like it? Oh, she likes to take pictures. That's okay. But now, the question is simple. Where are these knowledge producers today? I see them all over this room, sitting around these tables. They're here. Yes, we know that they are somewhere in the suburbs, we accept. But funny enough, they are in the slums, in the villages, in the rural places of this country. We need to go identify them, recruit them, build them up, capacitate them, and having done that, we mentor them, and then we unleash them to come and help to develop this country and this continent. One of my generals sometimes likes to say something. Says you don't have to be born in Sandton to make a difference, to make a meaningful contribution to the development and the betterment of a black child. Guguletu, you too can. That's where I come from, a small village. But I can sit and add a voice on global issues without fear, favor, or prejudice. In fact, I'll continue. I won't stop. Now, I want to call you to come and join us on this journey. And funny enough, APGroN is giving you the platform for free, Doctor, I understand. Prof, it's free. And don't disrespect it because it's free. It's not free, it's blood, sweat, and tears of people that are working day and night to make things like this happen. So don't disrespect it because it is allegedly free. We pay in kind. Are we together so far? There's no confusion, no leadership. No confusion. So one thing that's clear that we need to be intentional about is that actually we need to mobilize each other and ourselves and others that are like-minded. From Cape to Cairo, you know the song, Cape to Cairo. All of us must be mobilized. If it were up to me, Prof, we will deal with something called conscription, where we force every African child to not worry about the English and the grammar on the paper, force them to put ideas down. We'll worry about editing those papers later. Because we need your ideas. Don't be afraid because somebody's going to criticize you because of your spelling mistakes. We don't care about the spelling mistakes. We'll deal with them when the paper and the ideas are put down. So I want us then today to enlist to this army, to join this movement. Where's your applications forms, Prof? Are they ready, sir? Because we have soldiers or people that are willing to come in and assist to make Africa great. And I'm not talking Donald Trump issues, ne? But what concerns me is rather what is the alternative if we don't? Because sometimes we get so excited, make Africa great. What does it mean? It's too far from us. Let me give you a reality check of your inability to get involved in the space and what it means to you, your life, where you stay, the food you eat, the computers that you use, and how potentially it even affects how you think, not just about the world, but unfortunately also about you as an African child. One, it hinders innovation and development across the various sectors. Your inability to participate. It negatively impacts on our economy, on our growth as a continent, and social progress. That's one. Whilst you stay there and are comfortable and you don't care, it creates worse a dependence on foreign knowledge and foreign technology. What does it mean? It results in exploitation, a lack of control, even of your own resources, because those that have the means to extract them are not you, because you are most relaxed. Don't want to get involved. Don't want to think up any ideas to the problems that we are solving. So whilst we were hit by COVID-19, we were begging somebody in a foreign land to please allow us to. Whilst there is war in Ukraine, suddenly, with the vast land that we have on the African continent, Dr. Morodi, our presidents, you know them, they went and begged for grain somewhere in a small kitchen of Europe, because it's that small. We are this big. We can't plant, apparently. Yet there are commercial farmers in this country. The land is plentiful, but yet we beg for grain. You will lose control even of the simple resources. It will create a dependency syndrome that when you have the power and the capacity to make a difference, you have to wait from the Messiah to come and hopefully one day to rescue you. Because it's an African to assist yourself, it seems. African solutions to African problems, they say, yet this seems to be a rhetoric more than a reality. Let's look at the numbers. 1%. What difference meaningful would 1% make? Again, the bargaining power you lose whilst you are relaxed there and not dealing. Because if somebody creates something, surely he dictates. It's like the owner of a ball when we are playing in the locations. When he's tired playing, first thing he does, he takes his ball and everybody must stop playing. And that is the reality that we are faced with whilst we are comfortable doing nothing. But also, funny enough, It perpetuates poverty and inequality. Somebody comes in our country, extracts our minerals, goes and produces them into a funny ring somewhere in Europe, takes our chocolate and, you know, the raw stuff, and takes it and makes these nice chocolates, and suddenly the price is very high. So whilst we are relaxed, it's costing us. Then a certain NGO will come, very glad, and hand you peanuts, right? Hand you peanuts, and we clap because, you know, the West is so generous. Whilst the real people, when you look at the facts proper, that are generous is us Africans. We are way too generous. When are we going to say enough is enough, isn't it? There needs to be a line that we draw. Hey, Prof, I think it's getting too intense. I'm not sure whether there's a problem. Are we okay in the room? We're still okay. I can continue, right? Just a reality check. I think it's important to reflect, isn't it? I didn't come to quote Prof, unfortunately. So you'll not hear me saying, according to Prof, so-and-so on article, so-and-so. It's not the aim of today. I just want us to have meaningful conversation and honestly, genuinely, you know, have a heart-to-heart, you know, engagement. Again, because the solutions that we have are created elsewhere, the solutions that are provided cannot fit in appropriately within our context. Do you understand? Somebody created a solution or a car that's specific to a particular climate and environment. Let's say Russia, for example. And then when you want to bring those gazelles, the taxis here in South Africa, and suddenly they're not working optimally, and you get concerned. So the point is this: the solutions that they go and research about and make were not made for us. They were not made with us in mind, good sir. We were the last people that they had in mind when they were developing those things. The skin products, ladies, that you use, know the skin products? Unfortunately, it was not meant for you. Yeah, it was meant for somebody for a certain skin tone. Even if it was meant for you, the money still crosses the borders of this continent. I'm not sure whether we are doing right to support in that context, or whether we are not perhaps scoring own goals, Prof, by supporting certain establishments. So then, unfortunately, because we are unable to produce, we are unable to research meaningfully at the scale required to solve the problems that we have to rely on these foreign solutions that are not tailor-made or unique to our context and situation. But there's this last one that keeps me awake at night. Baba, no mama, you're wearing very nicely. African like that. It's the weekend cultural identity and self-determination, because somebody else somewhere, Prof, shapes our understanding of this world, our place in it, and how we even fit in. So you go, ladies, you like to get married, isn't it? There must be a guy bringing lobola, and we know that when lobola is paid, you know, families agree, there's consensus, we have a marriage, African customary marriage. But no, ladies, somehow somebody somewhere told you it's not enough. It's not enough. You must still go, having married in an African way, go and marry in a Western way. Only then is it good enough. Only then do you feel satisfied enough. Oh, and then it's a Sunday, you decide to go to church, ZCC Methodist, and they have uniform. Go and check. It's not even African. It is actually a worship of European uniform that soldiers back in the day used to wear. based on areas those that colonized us come from. Even the church dress you wear. And when you are proud wearing uniform to church, and it says nothing about you. And not even the pastor has decency enough to say, my child, you know what? This is how we got here. Some African countries still wear those funny wigs that are blonde. Because if you don't wear those, you're not a lawyer enough, you're not a barrister enough, or advocate enough, or judge enough, whatever you are. Because somebody else dictates the terms. Somebody else somewhere even writes our stories and tells them from their perspective. I can imagine the movie of Ushaka that came out the first time. And seemingly we're so stupid that just for a mirror we gave away everything that we own. But if somebody is thinking for me, surely the ability to influence, to manipulate is much easier, isn't it, Prof? So we have ceded our number one responsibility. That is to take ownership of our lives, to control our destiny, the direction of our future. Somebody, while this Prasa train is moving from Cape to Cairo, Prof, is determining the navigation system on our behalf. Today, when you live here, some of you are busy. Waze. Who designed Waze? Then you must see, when you pass in Royal Scroll, it's like, Ruhi Scroll. That is how it says. Funny English. Not even the person that's talking to you speaks to you as an African in Africa the way you speak. Go to the airport. Angero, you guys are fancy. You go to the airport, you fly to everywhere. Not even your own sister speaks in a language that speaks to you. It's like, the English, you know that one. In Africa, on the African continent, majority African people in that airplane. When other people set the standard, when they set what is acceptable accent to use even in an airplane, the indignity that our black people are subjected to. Even the clever blacks, Prof, ones that think they are all woke, they have arrived, continue to be subjected. I shouldn't remind you of the special interest rates you get just because you are black, because the banking system is controlled by somebody. I should stop, Prof. People are getting worried. It's a reality check. It's our reality. It's in the news media. Now worse is the rand manipulation. We don't even meaningfully control the South African Reserve Bank, Prof, in our own countries. The books that we write, if you go at least to the law faculty, Prof, it seems African voices are there. But are they African proper? If you go to the health sciences, it gets worse. The books that we read are European, American, and elsewhere. I don't know the kind of doctors we produce, Prof. Do they not have capacity to do same? Or are we neglecting our duty to produce the quality academics that we need to be able to do exactly just that? I don't know, brother, I'm confused. Yet when you go to Europe, they'll tell you the brain drain that happens. African minds leading serious projects. The brain drain of Nigeria. Nigerian minds, we know. Brilliant. They are going where? Whoop. South Africans, the best talent. Whoop. And why would I not leave? Because seemingly the money is good. But we live for more than just money. You know, Prof, this is the one thing, if I would speak to Prof Nenkabuli today personally, I said, do me a favor, just one. Can the whole University of South Africa teach the correct map. Just the map you see. Africa is this tiny place on the map that you taught geography grade 10 elsewhere. It's not the correct map. Factually, not the correct map. But we still carry on with that map. It's time that Africans abandoned those maps. Simple things that make a difference. Why? Symbols matter because they determine if Africa is this small in the world, suddenly you as an African child, you feel that you are small because they made you small. You know, apartheid, the teachings that we got, that today we still suffer the thinking and the influence of apartheid. Because we're told, no, these ones don't think. These ones must, you know, what and what and what. Don't have the intellectual capacity to solve their own problems. It's time for change. For us to play a very critical role in research, innovation, in economic growth and social development. Let me make it worse for you. We are busy developing, or the world is developing, killer robots. Somebody somewhere in Europe is going to design the program. If we get favorable interest rates, will we not also get favorable ammunitions directed in our path just because our skin tone is not the right skin tone, Prof? I'm not sure. It's things that worry me daily. And I'm just sharing these ones. We need to be self-reliant knowledge producers, capable of tackling our own problems, our own way, at our own pace, for our own African, African outcomes, African problems to African solutions. Prof, I want to make this example. 54 African states, the richest continent on planet Earth. If you want to understand, I always make this. The real wealth, just one African country called the Democratic Republic of Congo. The real wealth, untapped, the resources under the earth. DRC, 2 times the size of South Africa. They say, those that know, you must take the wealth of the whole of the South America, North America put together, and it's not enough. Take all the wealth of Europe put together, and that is just the untapped potential of wealth in one African country. And we still have 53 more to go. And yet, we are said to be the poorest of the poor. DRC, the poorest in the world. The richest country in the world is said to be the poorest. I'll say it the way it is, Prof. Just like that is the reality, fact. I'm getting to an end, don't worry. The point is this: we need to shape our own future. And in this way, we solve our problems. Because I must repeat this, Prof, nobody is coming to rescue an African child. Even if they came, they're going to use it as a proxy to coerce and to control our resources. I'm still going to worry about genetically engineered seeds. That after they are planted, suddenly, if you plant any other seed, it cannot. So they patent even seeds and sell it back to us. So, Prof, the question then, I've given all these problems and what we need to do, but how should we go about doing it? Well, there's hope in APGroN, Prof. It's a good start. And I think the aim was very much shared. One, to say, let me start there. They said that the first speaker emphasized that APGroN trains, develops, mentors the next generation of young people. It brings the young, the old together, the experience, the doctor. I mean, from a high school kid to a professor, a doctor in the same room. That is the power of exchanging ideas and learning from each other. But sometimes, Prof, being in the room, just doing nothing, just seeing the inspiration and the motivation that young people get. We need, Prof, as APGroN intends, to bridge this divide between the North and South when it comes to knowledge production. And in 2024, Prof, you've said, and Chair, I'm sure you'd echo the same sentiments, that we are also making room as APGroN for future retired professors to come and get involved in this program. They retired, they didn't die. Again, we must thank the largest university and the oldest university that gave birth to all other universities for also coming together, supporting APGroN, and making this a reality. If Prof. Lenkabula was here, and all other members I mentioned in the protocol, I'd say thank you, thank you, thank you. This is the type of collaboration that we need, but not just from the University of South Africa, Prof. From every other university that claims that it is African. If it is African, it must be African-centered and help an African child to reclaim their dignity. Civil society organizations must come in and get involved with APGroN and help this initiative go through. The tenderpreneurs, Prof, if they do nothing, they must come and help APGroN to grow. APGroN must not beg for resources. Government, a whole government approach must be devised to support the APGroN initiative, Prof. But the point is this: an African child must be at the center of knowledge production in Africa. They said, as I conclude, the aim of APGroN is to improve research capacity in Africa, to increase Africa's contribution to the global research output. But the one I like more, Prof, is this one: to increase research in areas that have a direct impact on the lives of Africans. You can go do research about many things. Don't go, I'm not saying the locust is bad, but I mean, what value did we get from studying the locust? How has the locust, understanding of that locust diagram, impacted and changed the life of an African child? Because right now when we see it, we kill that thing. You know, to promote solutions-oriented research. But I conclude to remind you what our business should be: to make Africa great, to restore the dignity of a black child. But I unfortunately promised you in the beginning that it was not a speech, Akir. We agreed. It was not a poem, but an invitation. I have put it out. APGroN is extending a hand. They have put their words to action, their resources, and sometimes I might say, Prof, personal resources. You know, Ankere Leader, what I'm talking about. Personal resources at the expense of your time that you could be spending better elsewhere with family. So as they extend a hand, are you willing? Are you willing, that table? Are you willing to join us? To join us? Are we willing? If we are willing, can we then not stop with willing? Because here I'm speaking to the converted. I'm calling you out as a disciple to go and recruit others like-minded. Encourage others that are scared to come, because this is a safe space for us to become better together. But at the end, what is this research about? Simple: to build this country, to build this continent, and to position Africa as a leader in the world without fear or favor. Having said that, thank you for being depressed with me. And I believe that some of these examples might have been, you know, simple ones, but the significance, if we bring about change in those spaces, would be immense in shaping the mind of an African child and how that child sees him or herself. Thank you very much.
You know, Advocate Moekoa, I appreciate your... It wasn't a speech, it wasn't a presentation, it wasn't a talk, it was a confrontation. How about we call it a democratic confrontation? I appreciate it so much because it brought me back to thinking about my favorite song. A song that whenever it comes on the radio, does not matter if I am in the car alone, if I'm in the car with anybody else, if I'm at the mall, at the coffee shop, and it comes on, it always brings tears to my eyes. It brings me down to my knees. Bob Marley, Redemption Song. You know, when that song comes on, that song actually isn't even a song, it's a prayer. It's a prophecy for the people of Africa to continue to understand that the things that were done, but then it is still our responsibility to course correct in a way that is, or perhaps in a way that identifies with us, which goes back to tie into what you said, that the solutions for Africa have to identify with Africa and have to be tailored and designed by Africans. You know, when he says, emancipate yourself from mental slavery, none but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, because none of them can stop the time. The operative line, in my opinion, some will argue with me, but when he says, because none of them can stop the time, I think, again, Bob Marley had a foresight when he tailored all these lyrics, because he knew that there would be some kind of uprising by the African people to course correct everything that was done and to redesign a future and a world where we also have a seat at the table, or perhaps we can even carve out our own table. Now, this redemption song beckons a mental, a philosophical revolution. We may not necessarily take up arms, even though I would not be too against that. We've got wartime experts in the midst. They will guide us and, you know, tailor the response as they see fit. But more than anything, most importantly, the redemption, or perhaps the revolution, ought to be a philosophical one. It has to be a mental one. It has to be an intellectual one. Advocate Moekoa laments that close to 1% of research is actually apportioned to African researchers. The response to that is a declaration of war by Africans to start having opinions on matters which affect us, to start having opinions in matters that we identify with, to start publishing papers, actuating solutions and strategies and reforms to actually carve out a new path for Africans. So a round of applause again to Advocate Moekoa for that very passionate speech. And I don't think I would do the perhaps the task or the responsibility of thanking you without inviting Dr. Linde Lwamhlongo to perhaps reverberate our word of thanks for such a poignant democratic confrontation which we are so overdue for. So please, Dr. Mhlongo, please come and assist me in expressing our heartfelt gratitude to the advocate for that speech.